Ladies and gentlemen, hello! And welcome back to another episode of Headlines with Amr. Today is Friday, April 24th, and we are back! Did you notice we were gone? I know. I don't even have to ask. I got so many letters. That's how you know I'm lying, because if anybody actually missed the show last week, I don't think they would have written a letter, and I'm not sure it would have arrived by now. But let's move on to our top story, our only story, our singular story. The Pope versus Donald Trump, a head-to-head match reaching the epic proportions of something like Jordan versus LeBron, Tupac versus Biggie, Real World versus Road Rules, Celebrity Death Match. Do you guys remember that? That was wild. Subway versus Quiznos. Or Quiznos. That's so sad. How many stores are left, do you think? Okay, this is gross and disgusting for so many reasons. Pitting the Pope versus Trump, the way the legacy media is talking about it, it speaks to our propensity as Americans for these cheap, disgusting binaries that always leave nuance behind. Why does it always have to be this or that? I'm more of a this guy. I think this was that. I'm more of a that guy. Well, I'm more of a this guy. It's never this or that. It's always the other and the other and the other and the other. The other thing is that it creates a false equivalency or a both sidesism here, where in this situation, the way that's unfolding is Trump gets unearned legitimacy by being compared to someone like the Pope. And then Pope Leo, we're all sitting here taking a look into his crime record. More importantly, it's a distraction. It's a distraction from the real story, which is America's long history of co-opting Christianity for nefarious political aims. I mean, chattel slavery by saying that they were somehow lesser beings and that slavery would help rehabilitate them. It was sick. John C. Calhoun, a politician who's still celebrated in some areas, it was a letter he wrote to a Methodist reverend where he said that slavery was sanctioned in the Old and New Testament. Just get them all, right? Manifest Destiny, imperialism, colonialism, the genocide of Native Americans, similar. You know, there was a proselytizing element to all of them. We've got to make these guys Christian. And we also need their land and need them to get rid of their customs. And we need to kill as many of them as possible. It's a Cold War where we legitimized actions like, you know, just getting rid of democratically elected leaders and installing dictators and supporting them in doing things like, you know, disappearing people entirely. But one of the ways we were able to do this and sell this was by saying that we were at war with the godless Soviets. It's no coincidence that around the same time, President Eisenhower both added "under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance and added "in God we trust" to our money. But do we trust in God? Or Donald Trump and his friends are legitimizing the war in Iran by saying that it's a holy war. It's not just a United States or now problem. In ancient Rome, before they embraced Christianity for political means, they were persecuting Christians for political means. Iran, Saudi Arabia, the Taliban all bastardize what is in the religion of Islam to legitimate the oppression of average people trying to live average lives. The Salem Witch Trials, Modi's India Today, and their Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, which fast-tracked citizenship for all migrants except Muslims. They even included Zoroastrians, but not Muslims. It's kind of like a glaring omission. So that brings us back to today and what's happening right now, because the Pope is basically throwing a wrench in the long-running, well-oiled machine of co-opting religion for disgusting political aims. So the story isn't about what's up, Pope? About the Pope and Trump beefing. It's actually kind of about authoritarianism, white supremacy, and oppression losing their grip on religion. And I don't say that just because of this. I say that because there are some other things that are happening right now. I mean, let's take a look at the Muslim mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani. Let's take a look at James Tallarico, a seminarian who won the Democratic primary for senator in Texas. They're not casual Muslims and Christians. These guys are relatively devout, and they cite scripture, things like "in God we trust," when doing things like talking about the way human rights applies to everyone, when doing things like criticizing and speaking out against the genocide of Palestinians. Israel itself doesn't even abide by its own religion. I mean, they bombed a synagogue in Iran. Those guys who did that disgusting protest in Charlottesville, the Jews will not replace us tiki bros, you know, those guys, a lot of those guys are white supremacists who are pro-Israel, but also anti-Jew. People like Zoran Mamdani and James Tallarico, they're politicizing humanity and love for all that is baked into their religions. So I think this politicization of humanity is what we should be paying attention to. And, you know, if I'm legacy media and I really want to stick with the head-to-head thing, I would just say that Trump is the Quiznos of today. And the only difference, of course, is that I don't feel bad for him. Thank you all for watching. I hope everyone has a great weekend. It was great to see you all, and I will see all of you again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.